First, I just want to say, obviously, thank you to PCA and the motorsports community because, you all stood up and stood with ELF, the Erin Levitas Foundation, to invest in sexual violence prevention early, right when we got started. After you connected with Michael Levitas, who's been a longtime PCA member. So we're really grateful, and it's PCA support that has taken us this far, and I can't wait to show you what we've gotten to do with all of your investment and support. So first, we started, if many of you probably remember, with an idea, and that idea was all the way here on the side of the screen, Erin Talk. It was an initiative where we were going to have law students go into schools and teach middle-aged students prevention education. And we did that. And we're now beyond one school and one class, and we're in 2 schools at the time with that program, and as well as multiple classes a year. So I'll go into detail on each program. Also, after COVID, we were a bit forced at the hand to do something else that was virtual. And so the opportunity came up with Teacher Talk. And we were really grateful because we're like, how are we going to connect with the community virtually at the time? And a perfect opportunity came up, which was Teacher Talk. And it is online, and it help grow the network around the young people, right? So it's for teachers and coaches and after-school program staff, so they can identify, harmful or unsafe behaviors, and also recognize safe ones, so we can have young people have safe skills to grow up to be healthy grown-ups. Next came the parents and caregivers and nannies and babysitters who said, well, what about us? You're in schools, and the teachers or the after-school program educators are getting information. What's my role in prevention, and how early should I start? And that's where Parent Talk and Everybody Talk came into play. And we're really grateful to be doing that work as well. And then with Everybody Has Questions, that was launched this year, and that's part of our online resources that we'll talk about more. And the idea is, this is based off of an idea from the University of Maryland School of Law, Erin Levitas Initiative, which is a holistic program, right? You have a child, a young person, just teaching them directly is one way to impact their world. But this way, we're impacting the educators and grown-ups around them, the parents, as well as their communities. And so this way, the chances of impact are greater. So Erin Talk, like I said, that's that first program that we did, and it's come so far. Like I said, it was in one class, one school, and now it's taught hundreds of young people. And this year, we actually went beyond the law students at the University of Maryland, teaching the middle school students directly. We had a facilitator, and that was to test and see how it would work with an outside facilitator, and it worked great. And that is a way that we might be able to impact more young people in the middle school age, teaching them things like boundaries and body safety. We've also done some research to ensure that it was safe. When you're talking about these topics, it is important that it is done in a safe and sensitive way, especially if it was designed for the age that it is impacting. There's many programs out there that might have been designed for a college-age student, and then they do it with middle school students. Those are 2 completely different humans and points in their brain. And so that research was important for that. And so we're really excited. We got an investment to also grow this with something called a Train the Trainer program. And what that'll allow is people to do this program basically internally. For example, if the teachers learn, they can do it within their own school, and they don't need outside facilitators after trainings. Teacher Talk is the other program that I mentioned that we're really grateful for, in partnership with the Maryland School of Social Work, designed by Lori Graham. And how this came up was, I had mentioned COVID, but it was before that, middle school age students were asked, why wasn't anything done? Were you able to share what happened? And they said, yeah, I did tell people, I told my teachers, but they didn't do anything about it. And when more was dug into there, it turned out that educators weren't always sure what to do. They didn't always know how to identify the early signs of harm, like sexual harassment. So this online training, we worked with the University of Maryland School of Law and the School of Social Work to design this great platform. It has videos, activities, and we're really excited because this is going to launch nationally with a 200-person pilot. And what it does is it gives teachers, educators, staff members a toolbox on how to handle all types of moments. So Parent Talk, I had mentioned, parents were like, well, what do I do now? How can I be a part of all this great stuff? And so we wanted to work with the community, right? It's really important that we work together. And so a family actually came up to us and said, I want to have these conversations now. I had no idea you could start so early. So Everybody Talk was created and designed with a Baltimore family. And that is that first conversation that grownups can have with the kids in their lives around boundaries and bodies. And that's from head, shoulders, knees, and toes to, sharing the correct terminology for our body parts and starting those conversations. So when things do happen in kids' lives, you've already created that pathway for young people to say, I'm uncomfortable. I'm going to talk to, my parent, my grown-up, whomever it is that is safe and that I trust about it. And this was recently turned into Spanish at the request of community partners, which were really excited to be doing this work. And then parents were also excited to learn even more. So we have about an hour and a half training that can be done online or in person. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of, oh, I had no idea, right, moments where parents get to learn a little bit about what are age typical behaviors so we can all be a part of the community together in helping grow healthy, safe kids that turn into adults that are able to recognize you have boundaries and I have boundaries and I can speak up when something doesn't feel right. And how do I respect when there's something that you do that you don't like? And how can we be inclusive of other people? And these are all things that studies show and the CDC shows are important in sexual violence prevention. With this, there's a pathway, right? So you read the book with a young person, you take the course. Well, what happens when something comes up? You're not sure what to do. There's all types of questions and moments. And so in partnership with the communities we work with, Everybody Has Questions was launched, which is an online portal. We're really excited about it. It is new and it has incredible experts. We have a child sexual abuse pediatrician. We have child abuse center support, therapists, gender violence experts, social workers. This is when something comes up and you're like, and you get that feeling or that thought. And maybe we ask a friend, maybe we ask a neighbor, and they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. All kids go through that. But maybe we're not listening to our gut. Here, you can enter the question and you get a real answer. And the answer helps you, it says like, great job. You're paying attention to your child's drawings or how your child is acting after a long day at school or daycare or something they're doing. And so we're really excited to have this. When you go on there, you can also see previous questions. So we're also normalizing these hard moments that really do happen and calling them out in the best of ways to say, this is a journey. Kids are wild, but let's be there to support them to do it in safe and healthy ways so they can grow up and have good relationships, but giving their communities and the grownups in their lives the support needed to navigate it. So looking forward, like I said, PCA has really gotten us to this point, to these great programs. And I mentioned, launching these new resources has been, something that we have done, but we don't always push it out to the level that we need. So we're looking forward to really getting them out there. I mentioned the pilot with Teacher Talk, the online training, the portal that you just saw. Everybody has questions, as well as more activities out there for after-school programs as well to learn and learn with young people. So they say, hey, I have a group of kids, they're 6 years old, and we want them to learn more about body autonomy. And we'll have some activities for them to do to build those skills. Parent Talk expansion, I mentioned a lot of parents were like, yo, I'm not going to have that conversation. And this allows parents to have that conversation and feel like they have a support team to do it. So those sessions can be in person. They can also be virtual. And we're actually launching to have Parent Talk be licensable, meaning I've spoken to some child abuse centers across the country that would like to deliver that Parent Talk program on their own to their own communities. And we're all for it. We are so proud to be investing in prevention and then let more places get prevention out there in more ways. Why should they recreate the wheel when we've already created it? And again, we want to normalize those early conversations for grown-ups. I can't tell you how many people come by and they say, oh, my child's 11 or 12 or 8, we're not ready for it. And so part of that is normalizing these conversations and saying, when we talk about all different types of topics, again, that is leading a pathway for a young person when something of maybe greater magnitude or that's a little scary does come up, that you've already started all types of conversations and nothing's taboo, which also helps. Nurturing existing and identifying, new funding sources. That's how we grow and expand, right? With more resources, we can do more. We can have more programs out there. So we're going to continue the great events and partnerships, and we want to grow them. And we're really grateful for everybody who stepped up that allows us to do this work, affords us to do this great work. And the individual's family, giving sponsors and also working on always getting more grants. And lastly, meeting our programming needs with support staff. You all have known me for quite some time, and we're really excited to be able to do things simultaneously. When we have an event, also programs will be happening at the same time, and fundraising happening as well. So we're really excited hiring some program professionals and facilitators there, and that's how we're going to grow and be able to work with more communities.
Super. I'm going to jump in for a second here. This is Pat Kaunitz, the Community Service Chair for Porsche Club Potomac Region, and I am helping Marissa out with this, and I actually asked her to do this for us. So as part of this, we got some questions in that I thought this might be a good time for me to relay those questions and get Marissa to answer some with some good information for us.
Awesome.
So, all right, let's start with this one. And I think I know the answer to this, but let's see what you have to say. We know that you started in Maryland. Are you physically only in Maryland still doing work, or have you expanded beyond Maryland?
So right now, we have facilitators in the state of Maryland, and I'm in the state of, I'm in DC, Maryland. And then we have delivered our programs virtually as well, the ones that can be virtual. And so that's another thing that we're able to do. And I have had a request to, fly out and deliver this in another state. And those are conversations that we're having where it's ways that we think that we can and will grow with time. And also, I had mentioned Parent Talk being able to be delivered by organizations themselves to their own communities. And that's another way that it'll grow nationally.
Yeah. All right. So another question. Is it possible for somebody to sign up for a Parent Talk session currently?
So right now it's at request, because we had a bunch, I think, at the beginning of the year. And then what we're looking for right now is like community partners. When we put them out there, we know Zoom can be hard to join and what hour works. So we have found that working with community partners is a great way to do it. So they kind of bring the group. And so if you have a group that wants it, all you have to do is ask and request, and then we'd love to hop on. We do it at all hours, right? It might be at 7 at night. It might be at, midday your time, whatever it may be.
Wonderful. Also have a question about what help you need as far as like, do you use volunteers? Do you have interns? How can the community help?
This is a great question. We do need help. I know that sometimes it might not always be, how is it? How do you want to help? What are your skills? So I think that's an important thing to think about, right? Are you a IP lawyer, or, you're in finance, or you want to go to community events and sit at a table where they come up and ask some questions and we give them free books or coloring books, resources, and tell them about our programs. And then we also have events just like at PCA, right? Like we can always use more hands. And we also do have interns, and they do a great variety of work. We have one that, packs our big tubs before we go out to a community event. We have other ones that do research, and some that do programming. We have a great high school student who loves to build some of the activities that we do with young people.
Amazing. Okay, well, that's a few really good questions we got from the community. I know that through the course of this short conversation, I was able to learn some new things, and I consider myself to be pretty well versed in what the Erin Levitas Foundation does. I think the final thing that I asked you to talk about today was, given that our community, the motorsports community, is very generous, I like to be fully transparent about how the money is spent. So if you could wrap things up with a little bit about where the money goes, I would super
Yes.
appreciate that.
Wonderful. So yes, we work really hard to invest in the things that we need to, right? Obviously, fundraising is what helps it all happen. So we help support the work that way, management as well with staff. And then as you see, over 80% of the funds, so that's 80 cents of every dollar, and a little bit more goes to our programs. And there on the right side, you can see how we break it down. St. Tim's is a program that we had. It was, where Erin's alma mater, and where she truly loved and adored and wanted to make sure that they had prevention, education, and relationship information every year. And you also see the Levitas Initiative at the University of Maryland, which with both the endowment and the Erin Talk program in the schools that you see on the other side as well. So working closely with the University of Maryland School of Law, School of Social Work. So prevention education can be invested in for years to come. Teacher Talk you see there next, which is that online training that we're launching heavily this year. We've already done multiple pilots. The Parent Talk program, while this is the year it's low and it grows next year. And we're really excited about it once we're getting it out there. And then Erin Talk, as you saw previously, in the schools. And right now we just got a big investment to, again, train the trainer on that, so places can do it on their own, as well as some youth programming ideas that are going to go into what does it look like for middle school students to learn about prevention. And then outreach and awareness is the things that you see online from our work, as well as when we meet the community where they are at their health fairs, at their days in their city, where they just bring together resources. We're with like police officers, and we're with tutoring groups, and all types of things. And so these are where the funds go. We're very meticulous about it, and you can ask us anything.
Amazing. Well, Marissa, thank you
Yes.
so much for your time. I think on the next slide, we have some contact information
Awesome.
where you can contact either Marissa or you can contact me as if you have Porsche Club related questions and our fundraising effort related questions, you can certainly contact me. It's a partnership that we care very deeply about and we are very proud of as a region to be able to support an organization really at its pivotal time when they are really growing and becoming such an incredible resource in the community and filling a gap that frankly existed, and it was a pretty big gap. There are lots and lots of survivor resources out there, but we just don't want it to happen in the first place. So we're all about sexual assault prevention. And so if you have any questions about the fundraising that we do, or want to get involved either as a volunteer for the Porsche Club or just as a donor of funds towards the Erin Levitas Foundation, feel free to reach out to me. And then Marissa her contact information's over there on the left, and she is a fabulous resource for anything related to programming, anything related to, I mean, she will handle the bigger donations. Typically, if I get a call about a bigger donation, I just pass them on to her. So please feel free to reach out to either one of us. Marissa, I'll let you say the last couple words.
I just want to say thank you. I mean, you guys took us on really early. I know that some people were like racing and sexual assault prevention, like what's the connection? And it was really you all and the people, you're an incredible community of carers and you're passionate. You take care of each other and you take care of the people around you. And, you invested in something that was, it's been happening since the beginning of, humankind. And we want to prevent the harm from happening. And you all have really stepped up. I've loved every conversation I've had. And I just want to say thank you because PCA has meant a lot to our growth. And we're just really grateful.
All right, wonderful. Well, everybody have a wonderful evening. If you're watching this in the recorded version, thank you for listening even after this is over. So we appreciate everybody and we hope that you learned something and you feel empowered to take care of the kiddos in your life.
Yes. Thanks for being a part of it.